Hello. Hi, how are you? Welcome. We're going to share some teachings. We have about 13 topics. So we're going to just kind of yap a little bit and um, get things on the go. I haven't done this in a while, and I'm actually, my energy feels a whole lot better. So we're going to share a whole bunch of topics. And first of all, I'm just going to start off with a quick prayer. Usually I do this before I do a live reading. Like I already did it. I smudged the house, did prayers and stuff. But I'm going to do it again just so that you guys know that whenever we do live readings, it's not just me talking from my behind. When I do this work, I ask my guides to come through and I ask them to channel, to share messages and images. So those are the things that when they flash in my mind, it comes out, and it's fast. So that's why I talk fast. That's why that whatever I share comes out really like quickly. So, and hello, welcome everyone. It's good to be on again. So I'm just going to do a quick prayer. So thank you, Mother Earth. Thank you, Creator. Thank you, Grandmas, Grandfathers, Mother Mary, Brother Jesus, many horses, Andriana, sacred animals and birds, guides, teachers, old ancient ones, keepers of the white light, ascended masters, sister circle, brotherhood, and all the good spirits far and wide in all dimensions and all time and space. I ask for your help and your blessings to come through me, to channel, to share the knowledge, wisdom, tools, solutions, and lessons for all of us to hear so that we can help everyone come back into the light. I ask for ultimate protection, that if anyone has a negative reaction, that it all be blessed and purified and go back to everyone as knowledge, wisdom, tools, and solutions. I ask for nothing but good spirits to work with me, spirits of divine love, light, and energy who speak the absolute truth. I ask for the words to flow through me. I ask for the messages, the images, and the visions that I need to see, hear, and feel in order to help the people with the topics that we've chosen today. I love you, I honor you, I respect you, and I believe in you, Creator, and all the good spirits far and wide. Thank you for your help. All my relations. Okay, cool. Did you feel it? So when it's from here, you can feel it. And the prayer basically is going to keep out any negative energy, any negative influence. That's the intention behind it. That everything here is shared as lessons is based on my own personal experiences, the teachings that I've had from the day I was born till today, working with many amazing healers, and lots of research, and the things that I share are based on my life experiences. So that's why I said earlier, I don't talk on my behind. So welcome, and thank you for amplifying the prayers. It really does help. So I wrote them down. My energy is a little bit jacked up right now, so I'm kind of a little bit shaky, which is normal for me. And I did smudge, so you can smudge if you'd like. Some of the things may trigger you. To warn you, I'm really blunt, and I tell it like it is, so I don't like sugarcoating anything, because a lot of times if we keep lying to ourselves, it's not going to help us. So that's why it's important to be honest and blunt with yourself, because even denial is lying to yourself. So these topics that I'm going to be sharing is going to be like lots of information. And I'm hoping the lighting stays good, because I need to get myself some lamps. So one of the topics that came up was the placenta, what to do it after birth. I did do some research on that, and I did talk to elders when I was home about 8 years ago after I had my kids, and I had learned it after. I, for one, didn't do anything with the placentas with the 4 children that I had, because I had learned about it after. But if you do have children, you can ask them. You have to let them know beforehand that you want to take the placenta home, so that they can get them, like, package it for you and you could take it home. So the old way was they used to hang it on a tree facing the east, and just leave it there. It was away from the community, away from society, and the purpose of that was to for the child's DNA, memory cells, and the connection to be with the tree, with the land on Mother Earth, and the sun to always keep the child in the light. Some people buried them under trees, and you would do it with a young tree, and you would pray on it to ask for the child to be connected to that tree, grow with the tree, have powerful roots, deep roots, and for the tree to protect, guide, heal, and keep the child safe throughout the child's life, because trees obviously outlive human beings. So it would be, that was another way that it was done. I do know that some people kept umbilical cords after it fell off the baby's belly button, and they would put them into pillowcases, and that child would sleep with it. It would protect them. It would keep away bad dreams or anything that was trying to bother them in their sleep. So that is another way that the umbilical cord could be used. Or you could also bury that under a tree, but it's really at your own discretion and what you feel. I still have some of my kids' umbilical cords, and when I do get them when I go home, because they're put away safely, I'm going to see if they want it in a pillow or if they want it under a tree, and I'll go do that ceremony. So it can be done any time in their life. And so basically that's what I know about placentas and umbilical cords. There may be more teachings out there. You can ask elders, you can ask the old ones what else they know about that. So that is another way that our people used to traditionally handle those type of things, was to recycle it in a good way. So, and welcome everyone who joined. We just finished talking about umbilical cords and placentas. So one of the next ones, I'm just gonna, like the big ones, because there's the relationship one, that's huge. And so I'm just going to quickly do the simple topics so that I can really spend time on focusing on like the relationship topics and the healing topics. So to clear a child, keep them neutral and protected without smudge. That was one of the questions. That one, when my kids were small, I would pray over them. I would send energy balls. As soon as they got home, if they were upset, I would touch them and say, "Are you okay?" And then I would think blue, calming, loving grandmother energy and touch them, and I can feel the chills that they're getting. So I know that whatever energy's on them, stuck on them, or went into them is going to leave, because love is really powerful. So it's good to do that with your kids. You can put essential oils. I know some people use oregano oil. I was just going to say oregano. Oregano oil. That keeps parasites off the body, keeps this cold and flu off, and you can put just a little bit behind their ears. You can even use any type of essential oil that has high, like they've measured them in hertz, and the highest one is rose and juniper. So those are really good, powerful protectors. They're also good for keeping out negative energies, entities, bad thoughts, emotions from other people to come into your body. So I usually put it on, and I use, this is Rose Absolute. This bottle is very expensive, and it's very worth it. I don't even have to open it, just on there. You just put it under your nose, your third eye, behind your ears, behind your neck, and on your throat. I would recommend not to wear it when the bees start coming out, because I got stung before. They like rose. I also use this Pacifica brand. This one is the Tibetan Mountain Temple. I also use the other one. It's the rose one, a Persian rose. So these are the ones that I like using before I go out. I also have Many Horses Shamanic blend. And this is one that I put together. I have very little left, so I'm hoarding it a little bit until I can get some more oils to make some. So it's the same thing. Just put a little bit on my hand. Third eye, I can put it on my temples, under my nose, throat, behind the ears, back of the neck, cross over the heart chakra, and I can just rub the rest on my hands. And then put the energy all over my body, down my feet, legs, behind, back here because, you know, when you go out, people sometimes don't know you or they judge you and the energy will hit you in your back. So it's important. I will even put it on my hair, back of my neck. So that is another way you can protect your child. Oregano oil will do the same thing. It might smell like pizza, but at least it'll keep viruses and flus away. And I like pizza, homemade anyways. So the neutralizing the child is when you touch them and you say I love you. Protecting the child is when you put essential oils on them, touching them, putting like kind of touching them on the shoulders and thinking I love you. You can even put love into them before they leave the house, or you can send an energy ball and be like send nothing but pure love, pure light, pure healing energy to everyone who's watching and push it, and then everyone will go shh. It's really cool. So that's another way that you can help your children without using smudge. And you can also put holy water into spray bottles. You can make your own. You just boil the hell out of it. I'm just kidding. You pray on it. Okay, I'll give you a quick example. Many horses taught me how to do this. So you take a bottle of water or even medicines. We'll pretend this is bottled water. And you just lower it to Mother Earth. And you say, thank you, Mother Earth, because that's where it's from. Raise it up. Thank you, Creator, or your higher power, whatever you believe in, and hold it in front of your heart and say thank you, standing medicine people, or thank you, water spirits. I ask for your blessing to be holy water, to change every cell in my body to be pure holy water. I ask you to be holy water for protection, or holy oil for protection. I ask you to block out all negative thoughts, curses, energies, entities, spirits, bad luck, negative energy that does not belong to my sacred space. I ask that if anything comes to me, I ask for it to be blessed and purified and to come back to me as knowledge, wisdom, tools, and solutions, and to block all negativity that does not serve my highest good. So you can use any type of language you want as long as you believe in it. And then you can end it with I love you, I honor you, I respect you, and I believe in you. All my relations, or amen. So when you say, I love you, I honor you, I respect you, I believe in you, when you say, I believe in you in your prayers, it will work because prayers and intentions don't work unless you believe in it. So when you say it, it adds to it. It makes it more powerful. So, and then you can make your own holy water. You can put it in a spray bottle. You can even boil medicines and like sage or sweetgrass, or put essential oils in a spray bottle and pray on it to be holy water and spray it as spritz so that you don't have to use smoke in your house if you're not able to smoke out your house. So those are other options that you can use when you want to put protection on yourself or your child, or use it in your house without smudge. There's always ways around it. Even essential oil diffusers work really, really well. Okay, so whenever you get cold, chills, hot spots, or feeling energy on your body, there was a whole big sentence, but I just simplified it. So anytime I go out, and if I get cold chills on my back or my neck, it depends on the energy that comes through. I've learned to decipher what's good energy and what's bad energy. So for me, when it's good energy, I will feel like chills head to toe. If I'm saying something right, it's like I get chills from my neck down, and that's my guides touching me saying what you're thinking, what you're feeling, or what you're saying is correct. And that's a validation. So it's almost like a blessing from the other side. Like, keep doing what you're doing, keep saying what you're saying, because it's right. Whenever I get hot spots on my body, sometimes it feels like a circle spot going on. That is when negative energy is trying to penetrate my physical being. I'll put my hand there and pull that sucker off, give it back, ask it to be blessed and purified, give it to the other side, and put love back in. Breathe, I love you. So that's important to know the difference. When it doesn't feel right, like hot, and if my feeling in my stomach is like, no, it doesn't feel right, pull it off. Like, you do not need to have negative energy in your body. And I think a lot of people, once they realize what good energy, what negative energy is, it's a lot easier for you to know that it doesn't have to stay. A lot of times, your feeling will let you know, like your very first feeling of whatever touches your body, is it good or not? If it's stingy, if it's hot, if your gut says no, pull that crap off. It's not yours. Like, there's times when I go to bed at night And I could be just laying there praying, or sometimes I'm watching a video or a movie when I'm going to bed, and what happens is I'll get stings on my legs. Right side is the male talking negatively about me, left side is the female. So I just feel it. I put my hand on my leg, take a breath, throw it up. And I ask for it to be blessed and purified. And I ask whoever's talking about me to block it. I ask my guides to block it. It's not mine. People are entitled to their own beliefs, their own opinions. They're entitled to their feelings. They're entitled to their perceptions. It does not mean that it belongs in my body. So whatever it is that they're feeling, whatever it is that they're thinking, whatever it is that they're saying, I don't want it. It's not mine. And you need to verbalize it, not just think it. The power of your voice is so amazing. So I hope you don't mind me. I'm slurring a little bit because I had or have an abscess. I wouldn't recommend it. See? Yeah, so it's all fun. So that is important, is to know when to pull energy off your body. And don't get it. Sometimes, well, what I do is I ask my guides, show me the absolute truth. Who is this person? And what I'll do is I'll send, in my mind, I'll send them love. I'll visualize, if I know what they look like, if I know who they are, I'll visualize them, and I'll ask Creator to like pull light in right down to their feet. And to fill them nothing but pure love, pure light, pure healing energy, and then put like this beautiful white blanket over them to keep them protected. Because a lot of times people will only say and do negative things about you when they have unresolved issues, when they haven't forgiven, when they're assuming things, when they haven't asked you, when they don't mind their own business, all that kind of stuff. So it's important to send them love and blessings. So connect to Creator, white blanket around them, and send them back and say, go back to your body. I forgive you. I let you go. Disconnect. I disconnect from you. Chop it in front of you. Send them love and blessings. Push their energy back. And say, okay, guides, block them. And if you know their name, then just put your hand straight in front of you and say, this person's energy is not allowed in my sacred space. And then you do a complete 360 and you block it. And you ask them to block it. You ask them to keep them, anything that they've sent to you, to be blessed and purified, and to never come back to harm you or anyone else on Mother Earth. Because it's really, really important that people realize that those things that you get on the body causes the body to go into a stress mode. And when the body's in a stress mode, the immune system can shut off up to a period of time, which leaves your body open to sickness, diseases, illness, and all that wonderful stuff, because stress is the #1 killer of a lot of people. So that is how gossip, lies, assumptions, negative talk, and all that stuff can cause harm to a person. Is energy goes where it's intended. So anytime I'm going to talk about a situation where it includes me and someone else, I will do prayer, and I will ask and say, everything that I'm sharing is a teaching. It's my life experience. It's my perspective, my understanding. I'm asking that anything that comes out of my mouth, that it be blessed and purified and come back to me as knowledge, wisdom, tools, solutions, and lessons. If I don't ask for that, whatever I say is going to hit that person. And because I've earned or have a lot of gifts, what's going to happen is it's not just going to be a sting, it's going to be a huge hot spot on their body. And I don't want that energy to hurt anyone, because what I give out comes back to me. So it's very important to learn to conduct yourself. It's important to direct that energy. Everything I'm sharing is a teaching. Everything I'm sharing is based on my own life experiences. So you make sure that whatever you talk about, you make that simple statement. And even you can do a quick prayer, because it's important that you respect other people's spiritual body and their physical safety as well as their health. Because I have known people in my life who have actually been taken out because of stuff like that. And it's really hard not to get really angry. It's just understanding and forgiving, because if I'm going to get angry, if I'm going to react, then see, there's my path, there's their path. As soon as I get angry, my energy connects to them. Their karma is now mine. I don't want their crap. I'm going to forgive them. I'm going to disconnect. I'm going to understand, so that whatever they've done to cause harm, it's their own lesson, not mine. I don't want it. It's not mine. So it's understanding how energy works. Okay, so anxiety and depression. Anxiety, okay, I went through that in my 20s. I'm just gonna drink some. It's coffee, by the way. I try not to laugh when I see myself, but it's okay. It's not a negative thing. So anxiety and depression. Anxiety is when, okay, so I had gone through that in my 20s, and I could be sitting there totally normal, feeling good, and then all of a sudden my heart just starts palpitating. And then what happened was the top of my hand started getting tingly and numb. It would come up both sides. And then my face would go tingly and numb, and then my heart would start like really beating, and then fear sets in, and then it's like, oh my God, what's going on? There's something wrong with me. And when I had gone to the doctor, because not only did I have anxiety, I had vertigo. And when I had that, when I went to the doctor, they basically said, well, you have a vertigo and you have anxiety. Here, take these pills and you have to learn to live with it. And I'm like, oh my God, what the hell am I going to do? This is scary. My kids are small. There's got to be something out there that's going to help. So as at the point where I was seriously contemplating on taking my life. And then once I thought about it, then the voices started coming in, kill yourself, you're never going to make it. And it sure seemed that whenever I take like a whole bunch of garlic pills, it would go away. Not knowing, I just intuitively knew that garlic would help me. And I learned later on when I worked with many horses was garlic keeps away demonic energies, parasites, and all those negative things. So when I started taking garlic pills, it would go away for a while, and then once it ran out of my system, then I would hear these silly voices, and then the anxiety would get intensified, and it was like this. It was like my head felt like it was 50 pounds, and it's like the weight of the world is on me. So depression is to push down and away. So depression, in a spiritual understanding, is a whole lot of responsibilities, not knowing what to do, not having any solutions, and it's like I feel trapped, I feel isolated. So depression is also a shitload of other people's emotions on your body, and it's not yours. So it's just like, because after many horses, I'm laughing because I'm remembering all the times that I had fought depression and pulled myself out. When people know something has happened to you, when they know something has happened to your family, or if they know someone is sick, they'll go, ah, are you okay? Or they'll worry about you. Not knowing that in that fear-based reaction, they're sending you fear-based energy, which is gray, black, or red, which causes layers and layers and layers and layers and layers of other people's emotions to sit on your body, which makes your head feel really thick and you feel like you're being pushed down and away from people. You're isolating yourself because of all of these other layers of emotions that's being put on you that's not yours. So the trick is anytime you're feeling that really heavy feeling, to get myself out of that, I had to do mirror talk, and I would look at myself right in the eyes, and I'd be like, we're going to make it. And I would pray, by the grace of God, in the name of Jesus Christ, only divine love, light, and energy is allowed in this space. Only my spirit is allowed in this body. If there's anything in there, you could get out right now. And then, yeah, you could feel that, eh? So, I did that every day. I did it 3 or 4 times a day, and I would hug myself and say, I love you. When it got really bad, I used a whole 2-kilogram bag of sea salt. And what I had done was I prayed on the water. I put the Many Horses Shamanic blend and rose oil and juniper and cedar in the tub. And, excuse me, then I would pray, and I'd clear myself in the tub, clear my head, everything. Like I would, if I felt any dense energy on me, I pulled it off, and then I would put one hand, the left hand on my forehead, right hand 2 inches under my belly button, so kind of like this, and breathe, I love you. Until I got flushes of energy nonstop, until my eyes were closed, and I would breathe, I love you, until what I saw with my eyes closed was black turned to like a bluish white. Then I knew I was back in the light. So that is bringing yourself back. And then I would call my spirit back and say, I call my power, my permission, and my spirit back wherever I may have left it. And, you know, since the day I was born until today, I call it all back. And then I would do like 2 circles, like, or 3, 1, 2, 3. I call all my spirit back and go, get a chill, and then my spirit's back. So your spirit will come back when you call it in. And so it's important to call your spirit back. It's important to disconnect from everyone's emotional energy. So after many horses had went home to the other side, I found that my sadness was like at 200%. And what I had learned was, my guides had told me it's other people's emotions that are on you. Disconnect from it, chop it. So I did. So basically it's simple. It goes like this. I disconnect from everyone else's emotional energies. And so you chop it right to your feet. Okay. I send everyone love and blessings. I'm going to deal with my own emotions. Push it away. And then you'll feel like a lightness come on. You can feel other people's emotional stuff leaving you. Because even in gossip, even in worry, even concern, those things will sit on your body and will cause you to go into depression if you don't get rid of it. Anxiety, a lot of times what I learned in the spiritual world is when demonic energy is trying to infiltrate your spirit, like you have your own spiritual, you know, your body, your spirit kind of sits inside of each other. And your spirit is the original driver of this vehicle. And what happens is when something is trying to come close to you, it's trying to push your spirit out to take over the driver. So your heart will palpitate when something negative is near. So when my heart palpitates, I'll clap my hands, get out of here. And if I know where it is, I push it out. You don't let it stay in your house. I've also learned that if I point at them and I go, you know, disintegrate and just up and down, pointing with 1 finger, if you like, feel it, you can feel the energy. Point with 2, it's more powerful. You can point with 4, but I find that if I just point with 2 and say disintegrate, I can get black stuff out of my house. I can clap my hands. I can use these wonderful little thingies. I pray on it to disintegrate all negative energy in my home, demonic energies, black masses, whatever. It's not welcome in my home. And then I chime it. It's going to be loud. See? And then you can feel it. And they will leave. They don't have a choice. So it's important to take charge of your home, to take charge of your body, to tell it to leave. If you find that there's negative thoughts in your mind, like it feels like it's in your own voice, you can seek out traditional help to have those negative energies removed or those demonic attachments removed. There is help. And but using all of the self-help tools really works. Excuse me, having the sea salt bath and rebalancing yourself, mirror talk, clearing yourself, disconnecting from everyone's emotions, calling your power, permission, and spirit back, and knowing who you are. That is number 1. Knowing who you are is I am love, I am light, I am energy, I am absolute truth. Okay? That's your foundation, because under science, we're energy, matter, you know, and all that, energy and vibration, which equals matter. So I am love, I am light, I am energy, I'm absolute truth. It covers all of that. And knowing who you are as a human being with a heart. For me, it's like being who you are is not the label that you take. It's not a mother, a sister. It's I am loving inside. Who are you inside? I'm loving, I'm gentle, I'm kind, you know, I'm compassionate. And that's who you are. All of the goodness of who you are and the actions that you take. And to stop beating yourself up, because if you start beating yourself up and you think, okay, I slipped up this one little thing, it's such a bad thing that you're just going to basically break your own spirit and you're going to bring yourself down. So just admit, yes, I had a slip up, I goofed up, or I reacted. I forgive myself. I'm aware. I'm going to change it. That's the key, is being aware. And I'm really hoping that the screen that you guys see is clear, because I'm seeing myself like break up. It's really neat. Yeah, so I'm hoping that the video comes through clear for you guys. So the anxiety and depression. It's important. So the essential oils is also important for protecting yourself, smudging your house, having protection up in your home. You can have big jumbo tides like that, any colors that you feel that will work. You can do that. You can put salt in the four corners. You can put salt in jars and put it on the four outside corners of your house. You can put a sprinkle of salt in every corner in your house. Smudge it out every day. Use essential oils. Use the chime. I have a huge singing bowl. Whenever I walk in the door, I clang it if something's following me, and I'm like, get out of here. So it's a matter of knowing when you can, like what the tools that you can use. Every little thing helps. Even telling them you do not have permission to be here, get out. They have no choice but to leave. So that's important. So that's the same thing. Another one was demonic spirits in the home, seeing black masses. So basically we covered that one. So yes. So demonic spirits, get rid of them. Dark masses, they're not good. Get rid of them. Just because you see them and you look and it's not there, they're there. Get rid of them. Smudge them out. Scream them out. I've even told people, like, get pots and pans and pray on it because it's a precious metal. And you can walk around and clang the crap out of it and everyone will leave. Like all the dark stuff will leave. So dreams of deceased loved ones. It depends on what the dream is. I know after Many Horses passed away, he came and visited me quite a few times. And one of the ones he came was he showed me a series of doors and he took me to a whole different place of like worlds that aren't here. It's really cool. And he also showed me the possibilities of the future. He also showed me what to expect. And I remember going in the dream, but I don't remember the details at the time. Now the details are coming. So it's like, this is cool. So sometimes the information may not come right away. Sometimes it does right away. Whether it's good or bad, when you first wake up, your first initial feeling will let you know if it's good or bad. I do know some of the things my mom taught me is sometimes we dream of our loved ones and we go to see them. We go to see them on the other side, or sometimes they'll come to us. But when you see them, they'll let you know everything's okay and made it home. And I know after Many Horses had passed away, when he went to the other side, he showed up live in front of me, and I'm just like looking at him, and like I smiled. I was just like, "Wow, you're here!" I smiled, and I forgot for a second he had passed away, and I just smiled. And I looked at him, like, wait a minute, you're dead. And I looked back, and it's a short fat man. So they can come through people for you to see them. And I saw my uncle. He told me when they show themselves to you live, physically like that, they're letting you know that they made it home to the other side. When you dream of them on the other side, they're letting you know that they made it to the other side. So, and the one thing my mom shared was when you're in that space with them, she said if they tried to hug you, she said it's not good if they hug you because it's letting you know that someone else is going to follow home. Someone else is going to go home. So she said it's okay to dream of them and you could talk to them. She's like, but don't run and hug them in your dream. It's like, okay, well, I don't think I did with Many Horses. So everyone has their own interpretations. Everyone has their own beliefs. So you can basically go with what your gut feeling is. And a lot of times I find your dreams will reveal to you what needs to be healed from your past. So it'll come from your subconscious, where your memories are stored back here. And it'll reveal to you some of the things that you need to face in yourself. Sometimes it's prophecy. Sometimes you can see visions of the future. Sometimes it could be many different things. It depends on what you dream about. So for me, if I'm dreaming about spiders, then I'm not getting grossed out. I'm like, oh, what's the goodness of spiders, you know? So it's really important to focus on the goodness. And if it's a warning, don't get freaked out, because a lot of times I tell people if you see or know things that are coming, you can drop tobacco and ask your guides. If it's meant to be, sometimes we get warnings of death. You can drop tobacco and you can ask that if it's their time for it to be with extreme gentle guidance and have the angels guide them and keep them protected and that they make it home. If it's not their time, to extend it, to protect them, to guide them, to keep them safe, and to shift the vision that you saw. And when it happens, if they don't go, or if they do go, basically, if they don't go, then you know you did a good thing. You just gotta be. If they do go, then you still did a good thing because you helped them pass over, and it was their time. So a lot of times we can't stop what's on a person's life path already, and when that's a hard life. So, okay. So one of the things we basically refer to love at first sight and true love. So there is, I've met people where it was an instant click, like I know you, and I've met you somewhere, but I haven't met you. Where did I see you before? And it's not always chemistry. It's not always love at first sight. It's a spiritual recognition. A spiritual recognition is, I know you from a past life. You're either my brother, my sister, my lover, my husband, my wife, my sister, my cousin, my teacher, whatever. But it's a spiritual recognition. Love at first sight. I've seen people fall in love when they've met either many horses and I in a split second because of the healer energy that we have. But we also had to share quickly, this is how we walk, this is how healers are, we choose one for life. So we don't leave those doors open. And it's understanding that it's the safest place you'll ever be. And that's what we look for in a relationship is safety, compassion, loving, understanding, acceptance, feeling wanted. And in a healing place, that's where you get it. So sometimes people will fall in love in those moments, and we don't run with it. We don't take advantage of that, because being a healer, it's a very, very strict path, because that's the main trauma of our people is the being taught adult sexual teachings too early. So a lot of our people have twisted teachings of what love is. So that's why you got to be very firm and very straight and very blunt when you're going to have any type of relationship, even if it's someone coming to see you as a client. You have to be very careful, because that person is in their most delicate state. So you got to let them know, this is my healthy boundary. This is so that you are safe and so I am safe. And we're here to help you. So it's really, really important to, so it's kind of love at first sight. For myself, I don't think I've experienced that, but I've had a true love. I've had a false love. I've had so with the few relationships that I've had, soulmates, if you want to call it, where you get set up by the other side by spirit. And I've had that type of connection. So it does exist. Apparently, from my understanding, is that it's rare. And I think the key to any type of relationship is to really love yourself. You need to be totally unconditional with yourself. Totally accept yourself head to toe. No more judgments. No more lying to yourself. Healing your past. Being who you always wanted to be. Freedom inside, where you can take a deep breath in. There's no blockages inside. There's no more trauma inside. And be in that place where I can be myself in behind closed doors and in public. I can be goofy here and goofy there. I could be a teacher here, behind closed doors. I can be a teacher there. So it's getting rid of those masks and facing yourself and continually working on yourself. When you can have that with yourself, then it's better. Then it's easier to find that person that matches with you. So it's kind of like if you're to take on a relationship in your advance, and this person is just starting, or they're willing to work with you, whatever the case may be, what you have to do is let them know is, this is who I am, this is how I walk. I'm going to share all the knowledge, wisdom, tools, and solutions and lessons with you, so that you can advance with me and walk beside me, and we can both grow together to become one. And that's really amazing. And anyways, and there's sometimes where you can have yourself up really high, and you meet someone and you keep bringing them up. You keep bringing them up, keep bringing them up, and they'll grow with you. And sometimes it's kind of like you bring them down, they'll grow, they'll go back. They'll grow, they'll go back. And over time, it's like a chipping process. So it's important to to really work on yourself, to know who you are, to know your healthy boundaries, to know whether it's good for you or whether it's not good for you. And your gut feeling when you first see them, when you first meet them, that will let you know. You have to go back and remember it. I mean, and ask you guys to show you, and ask your guys to show you images. Am I supposed to be with this person? Am I not? And usually what you'll get is it's up to them. It's their choice if they want to walk with you or take the teachings and use it in their own life and adapt and to, you know, to do all those good things. So it's basically free will. So you can't force healing. You could, just like the whole silly teaching, you could take a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. So it is. And when you want to have a relationship, the best one you could ever have is with yourself. And these last 2 months of my life has been so freeing. I've done nothing but healing, looking at myself, taking full responsibility, not blaming, living my life, educating my mind. I'm taking another online course. Like, I'm doing things to build me up. I'm doing things to make my foundation stronger. I'm doing things for me this time. And I joke around with my boys and I'm a big goofball with them. And I told them, you know, all that nerdiness you have? And they're like, yeah, it's like you get it from me. So it's really good. It's good. So I'm creating a really amazing bond with my boys, and it's a good time for me to grow. It's a good time for me to heal with everything that I've gone through in the last two years in my life. So now it's time for me, and I'm okay with that. And now it's time for me because now my boys are back and my older two are coming, and it's like, holy crap, this mom is getting her baby back. Woohoo! I can't wait. So everything happens when it's meant to. Don't force it. Because when you force it, it's just like pushing two balloons together. You ever try to push two balloons together and they won't go together? One will push the other one away. So it's important to heal yourself, love yourself. So another person had made a comment about using our own stories and how can you tell if it's from a spirit or their own self. See, for me, it's both. I use my own life experiences, and I use the imagery, and I use different things that I see, sense, and feel that needs to be shared, and I share that. And some people can channel. I've watched it with many horses. I've seen spirits like walk in, he'll say a message, and they walk out, and then another one comes in, and then they walk out, and I watched his face transform into Jivas. I've seen a woman walk through him, and I've seen his own spirit walk in and out of him at workshops. So he was amazing to watch. And so when you do prayers and when you work with spirits, that's how it goes. And a lot of people channel and they don't realize it. So anytime you get messages and you share it, you're channeling the other side. So it's important. So connecting to your helpers. Just a second. Connecting to helpers on the other side, like connecting to our own guides. They're always with us. It's like a two-way signal. Like once we start communicating, we can hear them, they can hear us. And so in the beginning, we can't really hear them. Our spirit ears are like that little lumpy parts back here. So you can clear them out every day like this. Put your hand behind your ear, both sides, and deep breath. You clear it. And you can pray on your spirit ears and you can ask them to open up. And you can ask them to connect to your guides. Only good spirits of divine love, light, and energy speak the absolute truth. You know, and the more you talk to them, whether you hear them or not, it's creating like a little skinny line of energy. And then after a while, it gets thicker, 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 thicker. And then the next thing you know, you can start hearing spirits because you're creating a line of communication and you're building up the trust. You're building up whatever it is that you're trying to create to talk and to hear your guides. So a lot of times we already have that connection. We're just not aware. It's kind of neat because when I first started, I used to ask my first teacher, like, how do I know if I'm hearing them? And she's like, okay, what color socks are you wearing? She's like, don't look down, just She's like, did you get the answer in your head? I'm like, yeah. She's like, well, what's the answer? I said, well, I heard white. And she's like, okay, now what color shirt are you wearing? And I'll be like, she's like, do you hear that voice in your head? And I'm like, yeah. She's like, what did it say? And it's like green. It's like, oh, okay. So then yeah, it's green. So she had asked me those simple things, and what had happened was she's like, now that voice in your head, she's like, do you realize a lot of times we talk to that voice, and that inner voice is our guides. They will sound like our own voice until we start using it, until we're aware of it, first of all, using it and asking it specific questions. So it's like, you can ask it anything you want. How's the weather going to be tomorrow? And it's a little bit cloudy. It's going to be, well, it's going to be the same. And that's what I heard, the same. And so you can start asking it specific things about yourself. What else do I have to work on with my healing? And all I hear is, you're doing good. It's just kind of like, well, anything specific, any triggers I need to know? No, it's all clear. So it's kind of neat. So that voice, you'll hear it, and that's where you get the messages from. And after a while, you can ask that inner voice, can you please reveal yourself to me? And you might hear your grandmother, your grandfather, a friend or family, an old ancient one from the other side. And if you're not ready to hear it, you're not going to hear it, because some people might get scared. So first, I would recommend just build your trust up with that inner voice. Get to know it. See how accurate it is. Every day before you use that inner voice, you do a quick prayer and say, I'm going to use my inner voice today. I'm asking for only the absolute truth, and only good spirits of divine love, light, and energy is allowed to come through that inner voice and help me. And anytime you hear that inner voice, or you're working with guides, you have every right to ask them, are you of divine love, light, energy? Do you speak the absolute truth? If they say no, then you can command them to leave, because dark spirits can present themselves as good spirits. And what happens is they will talk in riddles. They won't make eye contact with you. They'll just look around, and they'll say things. They'll only focus on negative things about people. And that's when you know it's something's out there, not from the light. So you always make sure you work with good spirits only. If you're not from the light, get the belief away from you now. That's what I say. But really good. So if I hear things like your guides are supposed to share kindness, solutions, like unconditional love, peace, unity, knowledge, wisdom, solutions, they can warn you, but it's not to put a person down. Oh, she's a bitch. No, you get rid of that. That does not belong in you or around you. That is a demonic or negative force that's trying to bring your energy down. So it's important. And you can clear your thoughts too. Clear your head. Clear your connection. Make sure that only good spirits walk with you every day. It's super important, especially if that voice is being negative. You take charge of who you work with, and you make sure it's only good spirits. Okay? So, and you keep that connection going. And you build that trust, you build that belief. The more you believe, the stronger it gets. So, believe, believe, believe. That's the key. Build the trust. Okay, so traditional child rearing, so basically bringing up a child. So I do know that from the things that I've done, the things that I've researched, the things that many horses shared with me, like a child has different phases. So as a baby, the old way was to have the child sleep in the same room as you, in the light, always a night light on, and you talk to that child like that child was an elder. If you talk to a child like a child is a baby, the child will stay a baby forever. You talk to that child like an adult, and you share knowledge, wisdom, tools, solutions, that child will have more of an adult, mature mind. You share understandings and human behaviors so that they don't take things personally when they get older. Like the first 5 months, everything that you share with that child will stay implanted for them for good. And so as this child grows, it's one of the things many horses had shared with me was, don't spank a child, because you're passing on and you're putting negative energy. And if you're frustrated and angry, and if you have negative energy or a demonic spirit in you, when you hit them, it goes into them. You change your life forever. So talk to them, correct them. I know back at home, one of the elders shared with me that you give them one toy, only one. Anything that they touch, you move them, you correct them, you give them their one toy. So it teaches them healthy boundaries, so they're not digging in cupboards, they're not touching everything. They don't think that everything is theirs. It's not being mean, it's just teaching them there's some spaces you can go into and some spaces you can't. So they'll have more of a healthy boundary. So it's all the different teachings that are out there when they are young. So up until they go through their first moon time, or they go through puberty, is when you give them boundaries. You give them, like with my kids, they all did everything equally. Sweep the floor, mop the floor. You know, I showed them how to do laundry. I showed them how the machines work. Showed them how to put it from the machine to the dryer, turn the dryer on, and did it with them a few times until they were old enough. So I exposed it to them, and now they are able to do their own laundry. They know how to sort it. So they were helping me with sorting. They were helping. I would fold it, and they would help me put it away. So it wasn't, they weren't doing all of it. They got to see the actions of it. So it was like a group effort. So it's important is to not just tell them, but you need to show them. Do it with them, and then they become strong enough and independent to do it on their own. So healthy boundaries, chores, scheduling. Scheduling is important, and I just explained to my kids, you're not going to live with me forever. You can't depend on a wife or a husband, because a lot of times kids aren't raised the old way where they know how to sweep, clean, cook, do laundry. It's like you might have to teach them. So it's important that you know these things, so that when you have your own place, I'm not coming over to do your laundry. You can do that yourself. That's why we need to teach you these things. You may not like it. You may not like cleaning your room. You may not like doing a bathroom chore or doing dishes, but it's teaching you healthy habits. So when you get your own place, it stays clean, You don't walk in smelling like dirty feet. You walk in, it's like, oh, it's pretty clean. Cool. Clean floors. I like it, Because my mom always used to say, you're going to have kids, your house will never stay clean as long as the floors are clean. And I'm like, okay, I could do that. So I let my kids go nuts with their toys, and it's just as long as the floors were clean and my dishes were done, and I was happy. So once after they go through puberty, you still talk to them like elders. You still explain things to them. You teach them when they're younger, before, like in the boundary period where you have to teach them scheduling and stuff. You teach them about emotions, how emotions work in the body, how to breathe through them, how to pull them, how to not take other people's stuff personally, how to forgive people, how energy works, basically the basic life skills of emotions and feelings, and how to keep themselves balanced and not to take things personally, that people only say mean things to you because that's how they genuinely feel, because that was what was said to them in their growing years. Or how they treat you, that's how they were treated in their growing years, so they think it's normal to do with you. So it's all of these things, and teaching them the psychology, how the mind works, the body works, the emotions, like all the basic teachings. And as they get older, you start introducing even more. I would smudge my kids and stuff, and sometimes they're like, oh, that stinks. It's like, that's when you need it. So all kinds of different things. So once they get into puberty, they have their healthy boundaries, they have their scheduling into place. It's just going to continue. Now you become their best friends without the old mentality of, oh, I'm going to go do all these things I used to do with my best friends. It's like, no, this is where there's no judgment. This is where they can come to you with any problem. This is where you're not going to give them shit, or you're going to tell them who they can and can't hang out with. This is where you're going to show them all the psychology that they learned and how to put it into action in their teenagers. And then you've got to be honest with them and let them know whatever's going on in high school here with all this drama, it gets worse after high school. So this is going to prepare you so you don't get broken. And I also explained to my kids, after the age of 18, you're going to go through a place of mourning where you're going to mourn your childhood, all the goodness and the things that you miss and loved and you wish you could have come back. That happens anytime after 18 to 25. And I explained to them, you come to a place of accepting that you're maturing, you're an adult, that childhood is not coming back. And you've got to come to a place of being okay with it. So I had to explain all of these different stages to my kids. And then even after that, after you're 18 and you get older, you got to explain to them, now your body in your 20s, You can eat and do anything you want, but after that you're going to pay for it, so you might as well teach yourself to continue to stay healthy and eat healthy. Because in your 30s, after all the partying and fun that you have, you're going to feel it in your kidneys and your liver and your organs. So now is the time where you have to start shifting your life and get to know your body and to correct the damage that you've done, so that in your 40s that your health is better than what it could have been if you hadn't made the changes in your 20s and 30s. So he explained to them the hormonal changes, 20s, like teenage years, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and what to expect through puberty. And women, it's menopause, and men, it's andropause. So yes, men go through chemical changes too. That's why they're more touchy-feely, because their estrogen goes up, their testosterone goes down 1% a year after the age of 30. A woman, on the other hand, our estrogen goes down and our testosterone goes up. That's why we're more solid and tell like it is and blunt and more of this stuff. So it's important to know your body changes. It's important to know what you need to do to prepare yourself for the changes. Like my mom, when I was a kid, showed me her hands. She'd show me when I was a little girl. And she'd show me again in my teenage years and in my 20s. So over the years, I watched my mom's hands, and I would touch it and I would play with her veins. Because her and I, we have a vein that we can move. It goes back and forth. So I got to watch my mom's hands age. And she explained to me how skin changes and it gets thinner and all of these things, right? So I've been watching my hands since my 20s, and I'm in my 40s now. I can say that shit. I can see the skin changes. I can see it on my face, and I'm embracing it, and I'm okay with it because my mom, I'm just reading a comment. Sorry, I just zoned out for a second. Yes, so my adopted son just made a comment, and I totally agree. Anytime you're helping people, the hardest part of battling the dark ones is when we battle the ones coming from the people we help. And that is true. And I've experienced that where we've helped people, and then after they leave, then whatever was walking with them will come after us. So it's important. Many verses had always shared with me, do prayers before they come to direct the energy, call the angels, your guides, protectors, warriors to take out anything that you take out of them to bless and purify it, anything waiting outside of the circle, for your guides, warriors, protectors, angels to take them out. Because what happens is if we're not taking care of what's going on the inside and on the outside, it'll come after us. And the only reason why they would be able to get after us is because we have an unresolved trauma inside of us, and that's the only way they can touch us. So that's why healing is super important, is to stay on top of your triggers and stuff like that, because a lot of times when people come to us, they will help us heal at the same time. Because it's like in me telling my story to you, I get to release energy through my voice and bring the healing into my whole being. So it's really, really amazing and important. Yeah, so yes, you are right, Denise. We do go through attacks, and that's why we do major prayers and protections and all that good stuff. Okay, so we have a few topics left. I'm just zoning out for a second. Just wait. Okay. So losing a loved one, there's different stages that you can go through. And I had asked specifically, like, is it when they're sick, while they're passing over, or after? And what was shared was not getting stuck. I have seen this with family members. I've seen it with friends. I've seen it with myself, where I felt like I was stuck. And when you're in it, it feels like you're stuck, but really you're slowly moving like molasses. So it's like, as long as you choose to cry to release and say, I'm crying to release, I'm crying for a happy memory, I'm crying for a sad memory. If you admit that you're sad, admit that you're lonely, admit that you're missing, admit that you feel lost, admit every freaking horrible feeling that you ever felt in your life, in those moments, you are moving forward. It may not seem like you're moving forward. I remember waking up and it's like, when the hell is this going to end? When is this feeling going to stop? I feel like I'm stuck. But in the process of me doing those small little steps, it was moving forward. it was so important for me to write. I journaled. I wrote the doctor's letters. I wrote the many horses letters. I wrote the people who didn't understand letters because they didn't know the whole story. I wrote myself a letter because I was upset, like shoulda, coulda, woulda. I wrote myself a series of journaling, and I burnt a lot of it because a lot of kakabin came out of my mouth. I needed to get rid of the raw emotion, and I needed to make sure I got rid of it. So if I was to run into that person, that raw emotion I didn't hit them with it. So I wrote a lot of letters, and when I wrote them, I wrote on the top, anything that I say or release, I ask it for not to hit the person. I'm asking it to come back as knowledge, wisdom, solutions, and knowledge and lessons for me, so that I can just release these raw feelings. And raw is like pissed right off. It's like, you pissed me off, you did this, you did that. It's the whole blame part that you need to get rid of. Like that part, that raw feeling, write it out, burn it, put tobacco in it, and offer to the other side, and you ask for it to come back to you as teachings. Like knowledge, wisdom, tools, solutions, lessons, teachings, everything that you need. And once you get it out, then that's when you have more relief. So I burned a lot of paper. I talked a lot to the loved one, and I still do. I have his picture there, and I talk to him every day. And sometimes I do research, and I'm like, man, you're amazing. Like, the knowledge you had, you should have had a doctorate, never mind a degree. So it was really important. It's really important to realize when you're feeling stuck, you're not stuck. That you're actually, when you're using the tools to move ahead, you're moving, even though it feels like molasses. And then one day you're going to wake up and it's like, oh my God, that heaviness is off my head. I'm out of the fog. So out of the fog part is everyone else's emotions. So you got to disconnect from everyone's emotions every day. Send them loving blessings. Call back your power, permission, your spirit. Wear protection when you go, because when you're in the grieving process, you are like raw, wide open, and you feel everything. So you got to put like lots of lotions, essential oils on. My mind stayed clean. Anyways, put lots of essential oils on. Breathe, I love you. And it's like clear. As soon as I feel something come on me, clear it. If someone gives me a dirty look and I walk by, I kind of like turn my hand towards them. If you can see it. Anyways, the whole point is just turn your hand. As you're walking, just turn it so that they can't see it. So you're not going like this, like whatever. Just kind of stop their energy from touching you. So it's important to do that, is to protect your space. I did get very feisty. You go through very weepy stages. You go through stages where you feel like you're not going to make it. There's stages where you feel like you're going to cry and you're not going to stop. You're going to feel like there's times where like the world is just too much. You don't even want to go out. You want to sleep, and there's times where you can't sleep. And there's times where you're up till 3 or 4 in the morning and you sleep 3 or 4 hours, you get up and you go live your life. So there's all kinds of different situations that come with losing a loved one afterwards. The key is to give yourself recognition that you're using the tools to help yourself. It may seem really slow, but you're moving, okay? And to write letters to your loved one, your raw emotion, the missing, the loneliness that you have, and then write your shoulda, coulda, wouldas, and write all of the things that you wanted in the future. And then the last one is everything you taught me, all the goodness that you taught me, and that's the part you want to keep. So the rest is just to get rid of the old baggage and admitting all of those things. And after I did those letters, I found it was easier for me to move forward, because I kept going, I wish I should have, I could have, should have, would have, could have kind of thing, right? And which was holding me back. So once I wrote out those letters and I was really blunt and honest with myself, like, Barb, you knew this information. How could you forget? You should have used this when your loved one was alive. And then it's like, oh yeah, Barb, you were in complete shock and trauma. So your brain was in survival mode. How that you couldn't even remember that if you wanted to. You know, so So half the knowledge that you have is literally gone with the wind when you go through shock and trauma, and it takes time for your brain to wake up. So you will lose memories, you will lose teachings, and then they come back over time. And that's why the first year I didn't do a whole lot. I did more lotions, I did more things to keep me busy and hands-on, because it was a little bit rough on me. I at sometimes thought I was gonna go batshit crazy, batshit crazy, lose it, because it's like my foundation was shattered, and then I had to relearn to build my own foundation on my own. So that's the thing. Know who you are. I am love, I'm light, I am energy, I'm absolute truth. Who are you inside without labels? I am love, I'm kindness, I'm gentle, I'm creative, I'm compassionate. And you can take all these beautiful labels, and once you know who you are at your fundamental level, that's your foundation. That's your roots. And knowing your history is a part of that, but who you are is what you want to build on. Yeah, and to learn not to take things personal, that's a big thing. Yeah, so losing a loved one and not getting stuck. And many horses used to laugh and say, ha ha ha, only dogs get stuck, and it'd be like, huh, stick. So I always, whenever someone says, I feel like I'm stuck, it's like, don't say it. Only dogs get stuck. So it's important to keep things in perspective. So, and there's nothing wrong with humor. So now the last topic, actually there's two more. So being scared around a person, a lot of times what I found was if I came around a person and I felt scared, it was prior to me doing my healing work, was because this person reminded me of a teacher who hurt me in my growing years. Anytime in my growing years, they had the same energy. When I did my healing work and I came across similar people, it didn't bother me. Sometimes when people come around me today and they feel scary, it's because of a spiritual attachment. So I've learned to decipher the difference. When a person comes around you with a spiritual attachment, or is demonically possessed, or has, because some people aren't born with human spirits, they're kind of like they're just born to cause shit in this world. So they don't have light spirits. So these people, when you react to them is when you give your power to them. When you get scared is a reaction. When you feel fearful is a reaction. So whenever you see them, you start breathing out of you. And then you start being calm. And don't pull energy in, because that's a fearful reaction. Just let it shine. Breathe, I love you. Push the energy out. Only divine love, light, energy is allowed in my sacred space, and you say that to yourself. And if you see the person, just nod and wave and keep going. Mind your own business. Because a person, a lot of times, you don't have to talk to everyone. If you know them, you can just sit there and say, hey, nice to see you. Gotta go, I'm busy. Sorry. And then you just keep going. Usually when you put your hand up, you can stop their energy from coming in or from connecting to you. So sometimes we have to do things to protect ourselves and to be safe. So I always go out with protection on. I have these on my wrist. I have this on my neck. I have them on my ankles. I put perfume on. I put oils on. I breathe, I love you. I send energy balls. I put energy balls through me, on me, around me, and I ask my guides to protect me before I go out. So you can use every little thing to help yourself, to protect yourself, because it's your spirit, it's your body, it's your sacred space. No one's going to take care of it except for you. Excuse me. So that's your job. So it's important to do that. You can wear medicine bags. You can use whatever it is that you want. You can have like a medicine bag in your bra. You can have like a little prayer tie in there. You can use whatever it is that you need to wear on your body to keep you safe, knowing and believing that you're safe. When you believe it, it works. That's the key. Gotta believe. Okay, so the last big one, healing from past relationships and forgiving partners. So, shall we take a 2-minute break? I'm just kidding. So, when I had gotten with many horses, and I had a lot of anger and rage at the ex, and because of the dysfunctional nature, because was already walking straight for 10 years. I wanted so many good things for my family that it fell apart. And I was angry at that. And I was angry and I blamed. And many horses finally sat me down. He's like, Barb, the only way you're going to heal is if you take responsibility for what you've done. Not what he's done, what you've done. And I'm like, oh shit, that's a lot. So I had to do research with relationships, like the dysfunctional relationships, residential school research, dysfunctional relationships, alcoholism, FASD, FAE, whatever the name that or terminology that they use. And I needed to understand. I already knew his history and I knew my family history and what I saw with my parents, so I had to see everything. And the whole purpose of it was for me to forgive myself for the things I chose to do in the relationship from the beginning until the end. It does not matter what he did, because whatever I chose to do, whatever reaction that I had was my responsibility. I was responsible for the choices that I did, for the reactions that I had. And I had to learn the difference between reaction and respond, maturity and immaturity, and healthy relationships and unhealthy relationships. I had to learn all of these things, and then he got me to go back and look at my parents. And I love you, Mom and Dad, right from here in my whole being. But I took all of the goodness, and I took all of the residential school teachings, and I took all of the immature reactions that I saw, not from just them, but from adults around. So it was like not just my mom and dad, it was my aunties and uncles, it was the community, what I saw in relationships and the rules that are imposed on everyone based on ancient dogmatic beliefs that no longer exist with our people, or is infringed on our people. So I had to go back and write the negative beliefs and rewrite those. Remember how I had a poster out the other day about changing your core beliefs? Right, rewriting the ones on relationships were the ones that I also had to do, not just on my physical body, because that affected the relationship I had with myself and my spouse. Because of the labels and stuff, I hid myself. I wore big baggy clothes, and the intimacy part was different. So once I did the core beliefs, then I had to do relationship beliefs. What did I learn from all the adults in my life? What did they teach me about relationships? The healthy parts and the unhealthy parts, and the dogmatic beliefs that are hooked onto them. And then once I wrote all of them out, I rewrote them. Old belief off, new belief. And it took me hours. I think it took me 2 or 3 nights. And then after that, I had to research healthy relationships, what it's supposed to look like. So it was a balancing of everything, an internal balance and no more blame. So it's like, now I know why I reacted this way, because I learned it in my childhood, and that's why I said this. That's why I reacted this way. And then after all of that, then I had to research what are mature responses, not reactions, responses, and what responsibility is, and not to label things anymore, and be absolutely honest. Like, yes, it drove me nuts knowing that this person chose to be with someone else, but did I do it? Well, if that's the case, it doesn't matter whether I did it or not. Did I see it growing up? And where did I see it growing up? Where did I see it with my friends? Where did I take it personal? And then where did I do it? And once I understand all of the seeds, and I understand why people do it, when people don't feel loved, if they're not wanted, if they're not accepted, if they're not loved, if they're not being unconditionally accepted, they will go out and find it somewhere else, period. Once you go from a lover to a mother, they're going to look for a lover, period. If there is no real connection or intimacy, and there hasn't been any closeness in the relationship for a long time, they're going to go look for someone. And it doesn't mean that I'm doing anything wrong. It just means there's a communication barrier and we're not admitting what we want and we're too scared of getting hurt and our past issues are coming up and we don't know how to voice it. We don't know how to talk about it. It's too scary because things like that are taboo. You don't talk about shit. You ignore it and live your life. So those are the teachings that most of us have and that we're brought up with. If you ignore it, it's not there. You just keep living your life. See, and then I had learned all of that. So I had to learn the old relationships where it didn't work and mine didn't work out. And then when I was with many horses was, this is a healthy relationship. When we decided to have one, we didn't just, we negotiated, like we talked. What are your wants, your needs, your desires? What are the things you've always wanted to do, but you're too chicken shit to ask? So I wrote it all out and we talked about it. And from there, he said, I'm unconditional. I have no rules. You can go and do whatever you want. And if you want to do something, just let me know. Maybe we can do it together. Like if you want to go out dancing, for instance, or whatever, because it's something we hadn't done in years. And then we sat and talked about it. And he's like, well, I'm too old. You can go if you want. I'm like, nah, if you're not there, I'm not going to go. Don't worry. I just wanted to express it. So when you express things, it leaves. So we had an open communication where we can bring things up without anyone saying, oh, you can't do that. Oh, healers can't do that. It's like, okay, we're human. We can discuss these things, but it doesn't mean we're always going to go do it. So we had open communication. If something came up, if someone was showing him that they were interested and my stomach went, and I wanted to like, oh shit, I don't like this feeling that I'm seeing, we would help the person. I would still maintain my balance and treat them the way I would treat anyone else and help them and do my best. And after they left, he's like, you had a trigger. What was it? And I'm like, oh, well, I felt a little bit insecure. She's really beautiful. And she showed that interest in you. And she left the door open that I saw. And she thought I didn't see it. I saw it. I see everything. And he's like, okay, well, just think of it this way. I still got it. And there's nothing wrong with that. Just because a person shows that they appreciate you or they want you, it's my choice. And he's like, I already made my choice of what I want. And he's like, and if you listen to my conversation, I closed that door and told her how I walked. It's like, oh, cool. Okay, now trust building. There's trust building now. So the open communication was the trust building, the being able to talk about the things that we were feeling was trust building. And there was no shutting up. There was no sarcasm, no walking away. It was sit down and talk until we understood it and admitted shit. And then we were okay with it. And it kept us connected and it created more trust. We didn't hide anything. There was no bullshit. There was no immaturity. We were able to really, so, oh yeah, the connection might be a little bit bad. It's kind of breaking up here. So, but anyways, we were able to create this amazing, mature adult relationship where we had amazing communication, where I could be a complete nerd, walk around the house and talk to myself. And after a while, he's like, well, I learned not to answer you anymore because I know you're talking to yourself and I'm used to you now. So it was, so what happened is when we learned to be best friends, we learned that we could trust each other. We trusted each other by sharing and not hiding anything. We trusted each other because we could talk about stuff and there's no guilt and shame or saying you're not allowed to feel that or do that. So it was an amazing connection. And so with that, forgiving your past relationship, we first have to look at ourselves. We have to look at the first ones that we saw growing up, the first one we ever had, if we ever had our heart broken or it didn't work out. And, you know, so it's always the first. And once you uncover those seeds and rewrite your beliefs, then it'll be easier for you to forgive the person, because right now you have to work on forgiving yourself. That's where it starts. Forgiveness always starts with yourself. You have to understand the history in order to know why our people are so screwed up and why we don't have healthy relationships. Is because our social structure, our relationship structure, everything that we had in place was dismantled. We're running on a broken system of unhealthy relationships that was brought here. And once you understand that it stemmed from even before residential school teachings, it stemmed prior to that. It came with the colonization tactics that came in, which rolled into residential school systems, which is now in society as a whole. I don't care what nation you're from, everyone has gone through colonization. Everyone's gone through this bullshit. We just have to wake up and bring back the healthiness and the inner freedom and healing within ourselves in order to make a shift on Mother Earth. That's all that matters. So healing starts with self. So I really, really hope I hit enough of the information on forgiving partners and healing from past relationships. It's first looking at yourself. When you understand why I chose to cheat, now you're going to understand why they chose to cheat, why I chose to act immature, why they chose to act immature. You know, it's all stems from the teachings that we learned in our childhood. We have to find the seed, admit it, admit where we saw it, admit where we did it in our first relationship, and forgive ourselves, and then we'll see what happened in this current situation. A lot of times it's not a proper match, and sometimes that happens, and there's nothing wrong with that, because with that person that wasn't a proper match, they're a teaching, they're a lesson. They're showing you something in your past that you haven't uncovered yet, that you haven't forgiven yourself with. So they're bringing it live in front of you so you can see it and genuinely forgive yourself. Oh shit, I was acting immature again. I was being emotional again instead of being in balance and having mature responses. The person will kind of bring you back a little bit, and then you wake up and say, wait a minute, there's something I need to heal here. I got to take a step back. I got to be in my own space, type of thing. So a lot of times people who come are teachers of what we have to heal in our past, even if it's a stranger on the street or a short-term relationship that we have or something that doesn't work. These people are here to teach us what we have to heal in our past. That's it. And yes, it does hurt. Any type of relationship that ends, whether it's a friendship, whether it's a boyfriend or someone you're seeing or a marriage that's ending, because of the connections that we have made, that those are the things of where we feel a little bit unsettled inside of us, because we're starting a new foundation, and this foundation is ripped out. So now it's like, okay, now I have to do it again on my own. So that's why anytime you have a relationship that ends, you have to give yourself a year of grieving. You have to give yourself the time to rebuild your foundation and get rid of the baggage of the shit that you've done and that he's done to you, and forgive him. Forgive yourself first so you can forgive him. And if you ever choose to have another one, the person that you choose to be with, they're not going to have the impact of what was done to you from your past in a current situation, because it's cleared out of you now. So walking alone for a year after any type of relationship ends is key. It's the old way. You don't want to bring in that crap into someone who's completely innocent. What if this is the one and then you start breaking them apart? You know, what if this is the one and you haven't let go of your old hunting tactics? Things like that. Like, you have to really, really work on yourself in order, if you want to have that meaningful connection and something that's lifelong. You have to heal your shit first. That's just the bottom line. Because I know from my own experience, if you're going too fast, it's going to end fast. Period. Sometimes one's ready, one's not. Sometimes both aren't ready. Sometimes it's just not the right timing. You never know. So it depends on the situation. So key, heal yourself. Bring your energy up. And then find someone who matches you. That's the best way. If you find someone that's lower than you, you're going to have a shitload of work to do. You don't want to do that. It's going to be tiresome. Find someone that matches you. Don't go running to everything that comes your way. You just pray on it, sit on it, focus on it, work with your guides, ask them many, many questions. Is this the one? Am I supposed to be this one? Is this one just a lesson? What is there to learn? And if they, if they don't give you straight answers and tell you stuff, like, it's up to them. It depends if they take the teachings and run, or it depends if they want to change. Then yeah, there might be a possibility. So that means there's a 50-50 chance. Don't take your chances. Find someone that matches you. Just talking from experience here. And forgive them. I mean, that's the greatest power that you have, is to forgive them and to keep walking straight and to keep staying in the light. That's the trick. Is forgiveness sets you free. from their negative stuff. It sets you free from your negative stuff in your own path so that you can shine and you can be who you want to be. Okay, so I've gone for an hour and 24 minutes. And nature calls. So I'm pretty sure I've hit every topic. And we'll do it again. I'm hoping in the next few days because I'm actually feeling really good about doing these again. My energy's back. I'm feeling better. I've actually grown up a whole lot, changed a whole lot for the better, which I'm very appreciative for. Thank you for listening. I do encourage everyone to share. I do encourage everyone to come back and listen to it. I really hope that the feed was okay. And I hope that you got the messages that you needed to hear. So thank you. I'm done. I let you all go. I send you love and blessings.